Right. I think, what does it mean to innovate? I think innovation is one of the most used buzzwords at the moment. But my perspective on innovation is it's to set your mind free, to do whatever you want and think whatever you want without preconception of what is right and what is wrong, and to challenge every assumption that you know and that you're facing. And that will eventually open doors to bold, brilliant things that you didn't know were possible. I think it's different to innovate as a foundation and as a company or as an individual. You always have different strengths and weaknesses and opportunities depending on what organization or entity you are. And I think our advantage and really how fortunate we've been as or are as an H&M Foundation is that we had great resources and backing to be able to engage in very exciting projects, and also been given full confidence that we know what we should do and just go nuts and do it, with very little fear or very little hesitation that we should take risk and that we should be bold. That's our role to play. The fashion industry needs innovation across every single step of its value chain. So we need better products, better processes, better technology. We need better behavior as well. And we need also solutions that enable these different transformations. So the way we approach it is that we want to be and we're trying to stay as curious and as open as possible. We are always reminding ourselves to stay curious and to stay open-minded. And the beauty of the innovations that we've seen, that most of them do not come from within the fashion industry. So there's also a real big value in staying curious and listening to people that come from outside our industry that have an idea on how to change things. And as risk, our role to play as a non-profit foundation is to be at the very earliest stages when the risk is so high that a company just cannot invest or support, because it's just too risky. And so we can be that early cushion for innovators and ideas that have this huge potential, but it's really hard for them to find that crucial helping hand at the very first steps. So we can provide that funding or access to industry, visibility to the industry and media, and coaching to the individuals as founders, and so they can really leverage their idea and accelerate their growth, and then be even more ready to engage with the industry on commercial terms. You can definitely teach an organization to be innovative. You need to set the right processes in place that enables and fosters and encourages innovation. And you also need to create that culture so that people feel secure in taking risks and in thinking outside of the box, that they have their jobs secure, and also their reputation secure, because you need to allow for failure. We're failing every day, and because of failures, we know more and we learn more, so we can do an even better job tomorrow. And we're really trying also as a foundation with the Global Change Award and the startups that we are supporting to create that community. That's a safe community where you have a large amount of trust among partners, and confidence, and where it's okay to share failures, and it's okay to be very open and honest and authentic about what it is like to innovate, because we like to share the beautiful success stories, but I assure you, every single day is not like that. There is a lot of pain. There is a lot of challenges that you need to deal with, and that's what's ultimately going to make you develop and grow. And you need to, I think the challenge for established organizations is to create that sense of culture that we can do our everyday business, but the way we know it, but we also need this culture where it's okay to fail, where it's okay to fail an investment, where it's okay to fail a project. But that's a great way for the organization to still learn and grow from. This industry needs more collaboration among players, among brands, but also among brands and suppliers, and amongst suppliers. I mean, no one is going to solve the problems on their own. The problems are too big. The system that's currently failing us is just too big for one organization to fix. Both the industry's own supply chain or value chain, but also the planetary and environmental challenges that we are facing. So collaboration is a must. And collaboration is also a great way of enabling that curiosity and openness to other ideas and perspectives. When we get together from different perspectives to discuss a problem, when we come up with a new way of addressing it and a solution. And the fashion industry is fairly good, I think, at collaborating within the industry among peers. But we could certainly open up and collaborate a lot more with other industries that do not make a garment, but actually are in, transportation, energy, material science, technology, you name it. There is so much we still can learn from other industries and to really, I think, accelerate this transformation. Yeah, fashion customers are pushing for more innovation. They want to be able to enjoy fashion and express who they are, knowing that they're not hurting the planet. So they are really pushing the industry to improve fast. At the same time, I think a lot of players in the industry are also helping pushing consumer awareness. And this is really starting to create a positive cycle where consumers and the industry are working together to improve the overall impact of the industry. That said, is it moving fast enough? No, I don't think so. And we need also, both consumers and industry need to be encouraged more by regulation, so it's cheaper and better and more profitable to offer circular and sustainable products than it is to continue to waste resources and have a negative impact on the planet. And we're at that point where we actually have so many solutions that can solve our problems, but they are the playing field for the industry is just not designed for these sustainable solutions. To innovate, yeah, innovation comes with a need for investment. You need to invest in time, first of all, to think and outside of the box and do something new. And you need to validate your idea and your innovation through a number of tests and do customers really want this? How does it work in supply chain and etc. So yes, innovation comes with a price tag, but it's not a cost, it's an investment in future-proofing your own business and your customer offering. And I think that's where the fashion industry is lacking a bit of heritage and tradition and culture to invest in R&D, in research, in technology, in materials, compared to other industries where these type of investments are just part of the DNA and how you differentiate your own offering versus competitors. This fashion is changing and starting to adopt these practices more and more. But we need to accept that innovating and transformation is costing money in the short term, but we're going to gain that in the long term. Yeah, I think we can teach innovation, because at the end of the day, as humans, mankind is incredibly innovative. It's how we've created this incredibly beautiful and complex society. It's because we have innovated every single day since the beginning of evolution. And so it's in our DNA, it's ingrained in who we are as humans to innovate. But we also become comfortable. And so sometimes it's scary to innovate because you are challenging your own way of doing things. Startups provide that perhaps needed injection to kickstart innovation and to kickstart and show a pathway, the new frontier, and leading the way in terms of this is how we can do it. Let's work together and then scale it up. So yes, big companies need startups, both as a carrot, because it's someone they can collaborate with, but also a bit of as a stick, because if you don't innovate yourself, then these startups are going to take over the world. Yes, it's definitely a good time to innovate. We are facing a lot of challenges as a global society, as local societies and countries, and also as an industry. So I think it's the best time ever to innovate. It's when we need it the most that we have to do it the most. It's the only way that we can future-proof our way of living. And by way of living, I don't mean our rate of consumption, but our climate, the very foundation for where we live and how we live, and provide a living for our families. So yes, we need it more than ever. And I am very encouraged by all the innovations and solutions that I see that we can fix this. We really can. And we really have so many of the solutions we need. But we need to get over that, threshold and start scaling these solutions, not just talk about it, not just test them, but actually implement them at scale and replace the old practices. In my mind, the fashion industry can learn so much from the food industry, actually, which are decades ahead of us in terms of shifting from very harmful practices to more planet-friendly products in terms of meat alternatives, in terms of dairy alternatives, but also how you communicate that and engage customers in that transformation and shifting, centuries-old behavior of eating certain products into trying these new, fun, creative, inspirational products that we've never seen before, and helping them be courageous and try, and then they stick because it is healthier, because it's better value, or because they know that they're doing something really good for the environment. So we can learn from the food industry, most definitely. And I think when it comes to hard, deep technology in our supply chain, what's happening in the automotive industry, where you're going all the way back to the very propulsion system of the vehicles, and you're shifting that really enables a new supply chain, a new way of using vehicles, a new infrastructure. And that, I find it very inspirational for our own industry. And lastly, I think we can learn a lot from automatization. Not to say that we will replace millions of jobs, but that making things with new technology enables us to set up a more efficient supply chain, where we don't have to produce 6 or 12 months in advance, but where we can make the garments that customers want when they want it, and actually already paid for it. So customers first decide what they want, and then we produce that product for them. Simply eliminating the need for inventory, the risk for overstock, and the impact of all of that combined.